Welcome fam to our first Tech Tuesday turned YouTube series. In this series, we're going to cover all the topics that we do on Tech Tuesday over on Twitch at twitch.tv/belugaman39. All the programs, softwares, tools, tips that you can use to improve your streams, whether you're streaming to Twitch, YouTube, or even just recording for YouTube. So come with me and we're going to dive into OBS Studio. Let's go. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download OBS Studio. The link will be in the description below and it will take you to this page, obsproject.com, where you're going to want to download the file that fits your operating system. So once you get that downloaded, open it up and install, and this is what it's going to look like. This is a blank, fresh slate of OBS for you to work with. This is where we're going to build your scenes, your sources, everything that goes into your production. But the first thing that I want you to do is when you get OBS opened up, is you're going to want to go into the settings. You're going to want to come down here to the bottom, right to these settings right here, and it's right down here at the bottom. So click on the settings, and it's going to open up this box. So what you're going to want to do here, under your stream settings, if you are streaming, is to connect it to your service of choice, whether you're streaming to Twitch, to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. Get that connected. Make sure to authenticate it with the platform so that when you decide to go live, you won't run into any issues. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to your output tab. You're going to make sure your output mode is set to advanced. And the first thing you're going to want to check is your encoder. Now, this will vary depending on which system you have. If you're using a PC, if you're using a laptop, how old it is. But the big thing you're going to look for is the NVIDIA NVENC H.264 new. Now, if you're running a 20 series or higher NVIDIA graphics card, this is the encoder you're going to want to choose because it has its own dedicated place on the GPU for video encoding that reduces the strain on your CPU and doesn't tap into a whole lot of the GPU's or processing power. The alternative to the NVIDIA NVENC is the X264. We can open this menu here. You can see X264. Or if you are running a AMD card, it will appear in this list as well, but there's a version for your AMD cards. Now, the order that you're going to want to use these is your NVIDIA NVENC H264 new, the X264, and then AMD. So you might have to try to see what works best for you, but the X264 is your CPU, your processor doing the encoding. So when you go to stream, you want to make sure you look at your resources and you don't want to overload your CPU or your GPU. If you overload either of these units, your stream will start to lag or even crash. So try to use the NVIDIA NVENC if at all possible, as it is the most optimized for streaming. Once you choose the appropriate encoder, you're going to look into your bitrate. So this is where you're going to want to do a speed test. So you're going to want to try to be hardwired if at all possible using an Ethernet cable. If you are on Wi-Fi, just understand that the better your signal, the stronger your connection, the less interruptions you're going to have. So the one thing you're going to want to look for is your upload speed. Download speed isn't really required for streaming, but obviously useful for other aspects of running games, all that kind of stuff. But in regards to streaming, your upload speed is what matters. So if you are above 10 megabits per second, you can stream at 1080p and 60 frames a second, which is the max for affiliates on Twitch, for example. If you are running about 5 to 6 megabits a second, you might want to start looking at 720, 60 frames a second. If you're under that, 720, 30 frames a second might be where you want to end up. The other factor that plays into that is your PC. So the newer parts in your PC, the higher the quality your stream you'll be able to output as well. So we can get into more of those settings at a later point. But when you look into here, your bit rate, you want to set that to what your upload speed is. So that 6,000 to 6,500 is if you have an upload speed higher than 10. If you have an upload speed of around 5 to 6, then you're going to want to set this to 4 to 4,500. And if you're under that upload speed of about 5, you're down around the 3 to 4 mark, then I would bring it to about 2 to 2500. Now, the reason for that is you want a buffer. So you want a buffer on your network in case there is a bit of a hiccup. If you are trying to output at the most upload speed you have, any slight interruption will cause lag or skipping or even a crash due to network issues. So make sure you look into that bitrate and set it according to what your network can handle. The next thing you're going to want to do is come over here to the video tab. Now this is what your canvas will look like, as well as your output resolution. So I have a 1440 monitor, so I have my canvas scaled to 1440p. So that's the 2560 by 1440. The output, I stream at 1080, 60 frames a second. So that is this second line right here. You can go in and you can change it. If you want to do 720, you just change it to 1280 by 720. And then you change the FPS to 30 or 60, depending on what you want to stream at. When you're all done here, you just come down to the bottom and there is an apply button right here. So you just click apply, okay, and you're good to go. Now you can start building your scenes. So what you want to do here is in the bottom left, you see scenes. So you want to add a scene. They give you a base one here. So what we can do is we can just right click and go rename. And we're just going to call this one starting soon. So now that we have our starting soon scene renamed, you're going to want to add a source. Now, you're going to want to probably start with an overlay. So you can find overlays online. You can go somewhere like Stream Elements. You can make them yourself on sites such as Canva, or you can get them commissioned through websites such as Fiverr. But whichever way you go, you'll be able to add your overlay to your screen. Now, if you use something like Stream Elements, it's going to be a browser source. So we're going to go here and we're going to call it the starting soon overlay. And we're going to hit OK. Now it's going to pop this up here. We want to grab that URL. So I'm just going to go to my Stream Elements and we'll cover this in a later video. But we just want to grab the starting soon theme. So we're going to hit here. We're going to click copy URL and we're going to go back to our OBS. And you want to paste that into the URL bar. Now, again, we're using a canvas size of 1920 by 1080. You just want to do this 1920 by 1080 and hit OK. And then you're going to want to just expand it. And voila, you've now got a starting soon screen. So all of the aspects of this can be edited via streamelements.com. So these are free for you to use to add to your stream. You can download entire packages or just individual pieces, widgets. Again, we'll cover that in a later video. But that's your starting soon screen. So now you say you want to add, an in-game scene. So you want to come back down to scenes, hit the plus button, and it will pop up and add scene box here, and we'll call it in-game. From here, you're going to want to hit OK, and that will create your new in-game scene. So let's add our overlay. Hit the plus button, and you want to add a browser source. Go here, we'll call it in-game overlay, and hit OK. Again, we just want to go grab that browser source. So we're going to switch back, and we're going to grab the in-game, copy URL, go back to yes, paste, 1920 by 1080, hit OK, stretch it to size, and voila. So now you've got your in-game scene. Now, you'll notice one thing that might be missing from here is your camera. Now, to stream, you don't require a camera. Not everyone is comfortable in front of a camera, and that is totally fine. So say you want this, but you don't want the camera box. You can edit that out from Stream Elements. But if you do have a camera and you do want to add it, you just have to go into your sources, and you're going to add a video capture device. So again, you want to pop it up here, and we'll just call this webcam. Hit OK. And it's going to pop up this menu here. Now you're going to have a few different options. We're going to select the USB camera, and that's going to be this guy right up over here. Might be in use on our other OBS. We'll put it back to the snap camera. So we got our nice little green screen over there on the wall. You're going to want to size this guy to the box. Now there's one major point that you're going to want to look for when you're adding sources. And the biggest thing to note is when you add sources to your source list, whatever is on top is going to appear above everything else. So if we want our webcam to look like it is in the box, you're going to want to come down to your source list here, and you're going to want to drag the webcam down below the overlay. Now, if we come back up top here, you can see my webcam looks like it's now inside the box. That's how you basically build your scenes. And you can flush these out again with anything from browser sources to display captures, game captures, images, videos, video capture devices, and window captures. So you can start to build out your scenes from here. But the last thing I'll leave you with is you want to make sure you add audio. You want to go audio input capture, and you're going to want to call this your mic. And again, so you're going to want to hit OK, and your device default is whatever your Windows setting microphone is. So mine is set to the current mic that I'm using. But if you look down below here, you'll see that that green bar is bouncing when I'm talking. It means it's registering the mic that I'm using. But say you have a couple different mics, or you have a headset mic versus a streaming mic, and you want to change that. You just open this here, and you would select your streaming mic from the list, and then again, make sure that you're seeing this audio mixer bounce around. That's the basics of trying to get everything set up and ready to go for a stream. Thank you so much for watching. That is our first OBS tutorial. Any questions or anything like that, please feel free to mention it down in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitch, on Discord, whatever's easiest for you. But I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Much love.